mental is this: there is light arms fire, there is what is tantamount, I'm assuming, not only mortar fire but artillery shelling that is going on, and the lights that Deepak is referring to, those are flares. So at intervals, flares are being shot into the sky. By whom we don't know. In the visuals, you can see muzzle flashes. Let's try to get, we'll get Javed back as we respond to this, but you can see, or rather you cannot see anything. Do we require this band at the top of our screen? What purpose is it serving? We don't require it, no? So why is it there? Let's just, so you can see as the camera points across the LoC in total blackness, you can see one single point of light, and that point of light has now disappeared. Okay, we saw it much closer. There it's back. Okay, now it comes, it goes. We saw it much closer a short while ago. So yes, there are flares being deployed. I for sure witnessed what is obvious muzzle flashes, which were very obvious in the pitch black that it is. Brigadier Jamwal is on the broadcast with us. Brigadier Jamwal, now what had to be done has been done. We've taken the strikes, and the strikes have happened. We have to now assume from the reportage that is coming from Pakistan, which is neither being confirmed nor denied here in India, that the strikes have not only happened in PoK, they have happened in Bhavalpur, in Muridke. These are well into Pakistani Punjab. Well known as the LET Jaish headquarters. Muridke has been known as a terror headquarters since I was still in school. These are all well known places. But the present situation is that for the last couple of hours, heavy bombardment and heavy weapons firing can be heard along the LoC. I'm assuming we're both shooting at each other. What's the worst case and best case scenario here, sir?
You see, what has happened is we have gone in for a controlled escalation, I would say. Why controlled? Because we haven't hit a military target. We have only stuck at the terrorist targets. The escalation will come from Pakistan. Thereafter, we would be justified in fully hitting the military targets. Now, as things stand today, a line of control is activated from what I could hear from your reporters and what one is speaking. There is probably artillery duel going on. In fact, if you could ask your reporters who are along the LC, can they hear a whistle type of a sound followed by explosion? Because if they can hear a whistle type of a sound, that is an artillery shell. It makes a whistle kind of a sound. If they can hear that, then it will be artillery.
I will ask them in just a bit. So,
yeah,
but I have to ask you the obvious question. We are on an escalated ladder. We all understand what that is. Okay. Last time around, the escalated ladder was very brief. After the Balakot strikes, the Pakistan denied that a terror camp existed. They claimed that the Indian Air Force went across the LoC and struck empty forests and killed a couple of crows. But in that event also, they did send fighter aircraft to cross the LoC to target Indian camps. Now, we know that they used, because we saw this evidence presented before the public, they used US made missile systems. Those missed their targets. We had casualties, but the casualties were from friendly fire. We unfortunately lost an aircraft to friendly fire after Balakot. Then we know of the infamous incident when, of course, Wing Commander Abhinandan took his fighter jet, downed an F-16, which the Pakistanis never admitted to having been shot down. Okay, they never accepted that a plane was shot down, and Wing Commander Abhinandan was shot down in turn, and then 48 hours later he was returned to India. I won't say unharmed, but at least he came back home to his family. But the escalatory response was over in about 24 to 48 hours. Whatever had to happen has happened. This is different. I don't want to underplay the difference. In fact, we need to boldly understand that this is very different. This is not one camp or a couple of camps in PoK. This is potentially known large terror camps that are in large cities deep inside Pakistan, not just Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Deep inside Pakistan, Pakistani Punjab, these are very large missile strikes that have taken place. You can tell from the explosion, these are pretty much as big as it gets in terms of cruise missile strikes that have taken place. So now, Brigadier Jamwal, I am assuming the Pakistanis were expecting something to happen, were unable to prevent it from happening. Now they are responding. They will also have a plan. They will also have picked targets. The question is, when do they stop and when do we stop?
Yeah. Now, the way we have planned it, it appears that we were not, and of course, we were addressing the terrorist targets. We were also simultaneously addressing that doubting Thomas, both in India and in Pakistan, who after Balakot were giving a whole lot of, conspiracy theories and, those kind of things. They have been put to rest with the Prime Minister of Pakistan himself acknowledging that, yes, India has struck, and he's saying 5. There is somebody saying some other figure and all. It is 9 targets as per the Indian reports. So we assume it is 9 targets. It is huge. We have hit big targets. We had big targets, and Pakistan will retaliate. It will retaliate. Unfortunately for them, there are no terrorist camp targets in India. So it can either hit our military targets or civil population. Now it depends how does he escalate, and this time I'm sure there is going to be a proportionate response. It is just that the response whenever we give, like in LC firing, we charge a little higher rate of interest. For every round fire, we can afford to fire 3 rounds, and that is what has been going on since 22nd.
But I have to ask you the loaded question, sir, and I know it's a loaded question because how can you possibly know the answer, but I have to ask it nonetheless.